You must be wondering, damn, as if this COVID situation isn't bad enough. Now I even have to worry about late payment penalties. Die lah like this. I really want to avoid all these unnecessary financial burdens. So what should I do? Don't worry, this is where Q&A comes in to save the day. So I'm going to share with you how Q&A can help avoid withholding tax late payment penalties. Okay, so today for mine, very fast and straightforward, I'm just going to go through two different scenarios. One will be withholding tax using Excel. One will be withholding tax using Q&A Optimum. Okay, so let's go through the first scenario, which is using withholding tax using Microsoft Excel. So for those of you here today, I would like to ask you the question of the day. How long does it take for you to do your withholding tax calculation? And are you sure that you are doing it correctly? So you see, ladies and gentlemen, in everything that we do, there are always multiple ways for us to do it. But the common differences between these methods are usually speed, accuracy, and cost. So I will show you what I mean in the next slide. Okay. So has anyone seen this speed, accuracy, cost triangle before? So this triangle applies in everything that you do. In every method, you have to pick 2 out of these 3. You want something done fast and cheap, don't expect it to be accurate. You want something to be accurate and cheap, then you won't be able to get your desired result fast enough. If you want something to be done fast and accurate, then definitely there will be cost. So for most of you out there, if you're not using any software to do your accounting, tax, or withholding tax, then you are most likely using everybody's good friend, Microsoft Excel. Okay, but the problem with doing withholding tax and accounts with Microsoft Excel is that it is time-consuming, tedious, and prone to human error. You have to set up multiple formulas from scratch. Make sure that these formulas are correct and properly applied. And you have to also make sure that the figures tally on the accounting side. So with so many inputs that involve the human element, this also means that the room for human error is large. So as you can see here, this is what Mr. Patrick shared earlier. There are multiple types of payment subject to withholding tax and their respective withholding tax rates. So I'm not going to go through this in detail because you can just find them on the LHDN website for those of you who want to find out more. Okay, back to the main topic. So if you use Microsoft Excel to do your withholding tax, you might be thinking that you are saving money, right? Why? Because Microsoft Excel is free, isn't it? You are probably thinking, yeah, this kind of tax, I just need to key in the formula and all that, and all will be settled, right? Now, if only everything were to run as smoothly as we imagine, we wouldn't have floods, we wouldn't have COVID-19. The reality is, if you mess up these calculations on Excel, this means that the filed withholding tax will be considered as non-compliant by the Inland Revenue Board or the LHDN. So if they decide that your tax payment is non-compliant, they will then proceed to impose penalties. On the other hand, let's say you get your calculations correct, but because doing it on Excel is very time-consuming, so you end up paying the withholding tax late. So when that happens, LHDN will label it as non-compliant as well. And you know what non-compliance means? That's right, penalties. Okay, let's say you managed to get everything done correctly and you've submitted the withholding tax on time. But the process of doing this withholding tax on Excel is so time-consuming that you end up having less time to perform income-generating actions for your business. So this opportunity cost is also something that you have to consider when using Excel. Okay, what if I told you that there was a way to do it much better? Allow me to introduce Withholding Tax Module in our very own Q&A accounting software. So with this software, users are able to factor in withholding tax quickly and efficiently. All you have to do is select the withholding tax codes which are relevant for your business, and bam, there you go. It is factored in the purchase invoice and reflected in the general ledger section. So with this module, users will be able to see withholding tax codes under the following 4 modules, which are the customer module, supplier module, sales module, and purchase module. Okay, so let's, of course, understand a lot of information earlier. So we will just quickly go through some scenarios because it's much easier to digest real-life situations, right? So the first scenario, let's say if the user wants to create purchase invoice, and all they have to do is select the withholding tax code, the system will post the double entries automatically into the general ledger as what you see below there. So as you can see, under purchase invoice, once again, you just select the withholding tax code, and then it will appear in the general ledger section. As you can see here, see the WHT 8000, that withholding tax code. Yep. Okay. All right. So for those of you who still remember what Mr. Patrick shared earlier, for royalty situations where royalties you have to pay like 10% or even 8%. So these have to be borne by the payer itself, right? So if let's say the user decides to choose this withholding tax, royalty 10% or 8%, they can even add the self-borne withholding tax option at the transaction header. So once again, let's say in situations where you have to bear the withholding tax, let's say if you make a purchase of 100K, and then you have to pay a total of 110K because of the additional 10%. So all you have to do is select the self-bear withholding tax at the transaction header over there. And as you can see in the general ledger transaction, it will be reflected accordingly. If you don't take this, then it won't factor in the 10%, and it will assume that it's 10% will be 900K, something like that. Okay, 90K. Okay, so another scenario, let's say if you create a transaction at the sales or customer module, the system will post the entries as below as well. So again, once again, very simple, you just have to select the appropriate withholding tax code, apply in the transaction line, and then it will appear in the general ledger transaction, like what you see over here. So same goes for the credit notes as well. Again, very simple. Select the withholding tax code. It will apply the changes and the postings in the relevant general ledger transaction. Okay, so that's more of like the operational process, how we can make it very simple, straightforward for you. As you've seen earlier, all you need to do is just input the tax code. Everything will be done for you. Nice and simple. Now, what about data analysis and reporting? So you have so much data in the system, it is important for users to be able to view relevant data with flexibility and clarity. Can we do that? Yes, we can. Okay, so allow me to introduce the first report format. With this report format, withholding tax by commission, you are able to view this withholding tax by commission for all transactions. So this report format will be useful in situations where you want to view all the transactions under each respective supplier or customer. So you can adjust these filters in the software to either include all suppliers or customers, or only a specific few of your choice. It's up to you. Okay, for the next report format, we also have withholding tax by commission as well. But this time, they only filter suppliers or customers with more than 100K of transaction. So with this report format, you can immediately zoom in to relevant suppliers or customers with clarity. In a single glance, I can already tell which one of my customers or suppliers have total transactions amounting to more than 100K, the threshold, remember, the one like what Mr. Patrick shared earlier, and those that require your immediate attention. So this will save you some time on the steps required for additional filtering. Okay, last but not least, we also have this report format called the withholding tax transaction listing, but we sort it according to tax code. So with this report format, you can review all the transaction listings that are classified under different tax codes. So as you can see here, when users access this report, they can immediately identify which tax code category they would like to view and see all the transactions that are listed under that tax code. So this is useful when users would like to see only transactions under a certain tax code. So if I can summarize today's main takeaway, it would be this saying right here: use the right tool for the right job in the right way. This applies to anything that you do, whether it's accounting, tax, or even climbing a mountain. So with the right tools, you can make it all the way to the peak of the mountain. With the wrong tools, you will end up falling into the pit of danger, and that's not really what you want, right? The penalties will be in the pit of danger. So that is all from me. Remember, use the right tools for the right job in the right way. Thank you.